Oh, baby, we got Fumbles again. Pretty good player, Fumbles is. I don't know the other two. Maybe I might have played it with High Voltage a few times, but Fumbles is the one that I remember. He always plays Beast. He usually does pretty well. Okay, so there's some pretty important cards in the row. I would say actually every single card in this row is kind of a bomb in one way or another. So how does that inform our decision making? Well, it improves the Paul Ariana sector of things. I would say the techs are nothing special, so maybe Ariana ends up being a little bit better since losing access to tech doesn't bother her as much. Twisted Mentat, it's fun for those leaders. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning into this direction. Yuna is always good in second position, but you're probably not getting Smuggling round 1. I'm definitely not getting Smuggling round 1 if I don't pick Yuna, because then Yuna gets picked first and gets Smuggling. So let's go, Yuna. Get our Swordmaster quickly. Would have liked to play Paul this game just because the row is so good, but you know, if this gets detonated, like somebody early reveals for like, you know, show him Delegate and then detonates, then I'm going to feel pretty dumb for picking Paul if the row he blows up into is bad. So we have Faction, which means that when Aleza blocks Smuggling here, we're still able to go to Wealth, which is not terrible. The only problem is letting Fold Space and Hardy Warriors go to the other players with Baron in the game could be quite dangerous. So we're hoping that she doesn't go Smuggling, but she does. So if I Wealth this round, that's 3. If I Wealth again next round, that's 3 more, and then Smuggling would take me to 8, but I don't get the Swordmaster till round 3. Is it better for me just to hit Fold Space here? I kind of think it is, because I'm guaranteed the double Fold Space, right? And I really don't want to let the other players have it. So I think, even though Wealth is what I want to do, I think I need to go Fold Space instead. And to be fair, Yuna always has a problem with not having enough Faction in my experience. So having more Fold Spaces in your deck, irregardless of the actual guild influence itself, is pretty handy. Now, 6 is the cutoff point here, not 5. So going Tech Negotiation isn't necessarily helpful unless Aleza, you know, flips something, basically. We don't expect to have particularly awesome Persuasion next round, so there's no reason to, you know, not detonate the row because we could get something good later. That being said, you know, we could also just experimentation to like Imperial base. It's not that useful, to be honest. Like 1 spice, whatever. You do get some research progress though, and with the subject X on the table, there's definitely something to be said for just getting research progress. I mean, I like being at that 5 cutoff because it means that we can detonate the row favorably into most things. So I do think that maybe we're better off going Tech Negotiation. And it's difference between 3 and 5. That's pretty significant. It also blocks Hundro and Baron from going there and getting a 6 if they have high persuasion hands. So there's a lot of faction getting drawn here, right? We know for a fact that Hundro drew both its faction. Baron only drew 1, but he used it. And Aleza used her... Okay, alright, we're detonating. So there's a TM there. Baron is 1 shy of that, so I feel pretty good about the decision to go Tech Negotiation. Now, Aleza has the opportunity to screw with that by taking the TM or detonating again. But with 3 cards in hand, I have no reason to think that she necessarily has 5 persuasion without having tech negotiation. Jessica is interesting for down the line. You know, now you're forced to use Maya as well. Yeah. And he looks like he is going to detonate away from me, which is unfortunate. I don't know that it's a good play, actually, because I have my own detonation token, so if she doesn't detonate into something good, I can always just kind of like come in behind and detonate my way in there. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to pick up an embedded agent. Okay. Kynes is strong. Probably stronger than embedded agent, but... Okay, that's cheeky from Hundro, because Hundro, you know, he basically steals a water out of Eleza's hand, takes her out of the combat entirely. It's pretty good. Oh, he's mad. The good news is we made Baron reveal early. So we didn't make him reveal early. He revealed early because he wanted the delegate, and honestly, it's going to be a very strong card in his hands. So, you know, maybe it's not good news. I don't know. But as long as we go fold space next round, which I don't see any reason why we wouldn't, unless the combat were just like incredibly important Hardy Warriors target, then you know, we're not letting Baron get to 2-1 guild. The problem is that we're going to spend our early rounds not taking actions that give us Solari, and that's kind of poison for Yuna. The good news is our next deck shuffle is going to be very strong. We're going to have the ability to infiltrate Swordmaster if we get behind on the tempo, and we're going to have 2 fold spaces. What do we think about, like, Arrakis to try to get to Kynes? It's got to be bad, right? Because there's only 1 convincing in the deck. So there's only a 1 in 8 chance that we get that. So I'm thinking we might want to early detonate. How many convincings does Baron have? We don't know because it shuffled, but if we look at the log, if Baron has 2 convincings, I think we early detonate to keep the Kynes away from him. So he only has 1 convincing. We know Baron has Reconnaissance, which I believe he just played. He's got Dagger. He's got... Did he play Seek Allies already? No. So he's got... So he doesn't have enough Persuasion, is the bottom line. He has Convincing, Reconnaissance, Dagger, Seek Allies. So we're pretty safe on that front. We want to compete in this combat. If we go Interstellar up-down, we get $6. Or we can go up-up and get more long-term value. But if we do that, we probably get to go... So let's say we go up-up, right? If we... I forget if Yuna works on each source of the Solari or not. Let's see, because if you go double Smuggling, you go 2 from Smuggling. The second that time you go to Smuggling, you get 2 more from Smuggling, then you cash out the 5. You cash out the 5, you get takes you 9. I think it gets you because if you have 13, so I think multiple sources do trigger twice. So if we go Interstellar Shipping now and go up to here, and then next round we go Smuggling and cash out. We get 1 from the we get 2 from the cash out and 6 from the Solari. So then we would be at 8. So I think that's better than taking the money now. It's a long-winded way of kind of trying to figure it out, but I think, you know, the deeper you can get into the Smuggling track, the more value there is. So if we can get Swordmaster next round without having to screw with that, that's just way better for us. The problem that I might run into is the person getting second in the combat if it's, you know... okay, well now we get kind of screwed on it. But that's what the embedded agent is for. Okay, so we're going to have to use the embedded agent, because now we've got 2 people that are that are outflanking me on this. So I think that justifies the up decision, since we weren't going to get it first anyway. Do we detonate here? I think yes. I don't want anyone to get Kinds. And there's a lot of 3-cost BG cards that I could like flip into. So let's go ahead and detonate. Okay. So at 3 here, there's no BG, but Freighter Fleet is good. We don't want Subject X yet. Truthsayer would have been better. We've got something decent going on here. Goes for the negotiate withdrawal. That's going to be dangerous, but it's dangerous later. It's not dangerous right now. Water Peddler, very strong. Unfortunately, it's not going to make it back around to us. He might take the Truthsayer instead, but I think he's going to take the Water Peddler because he's at 0 water. Okay. So, there's the embedded agent. Awesome. Nobody can get to interstellar shipping before us unless Baron or Baron has a card, maybe, then it's possible. But, so all we have to do is we experimentation to interstellar, we embedded agent to Swordmaster, then we've got a fold space that we can play wherever. That card could have prevented Baron from getting second VP, and you still haven't used your water. This guy is a kind of a salt mine. The voice doesn't actually impact me in any way. It doesn't really interfere with me because, you know, I'm going their second action anyway. So I don't really care that much. Okay, that's hilarious. They both said, fuck you. Sorry, am I not supposed to say that stuff on camera? So I want Shimurki, but I can't get it, so there's no point in going up here, so I need to undo that. So we recall, and then we prepped for the next time. We get our 5. Oh, no, I did my math wrong. Ooh! Well, I hope Hundro finds a way to cash out, because that's going to hurt us pretty bad. So I think the voice block that Hundro enabled should not block Eliza. Like, I think Eliza's still able to do it. Where is Hundro's ring? It's in play and he just used it. So we're not getting Swordmaster this round. Sad. But Eliza's getting hers this round. So we still get it first next round. Round 4 is too slow for what Yuna generally wants to be doing, but it's not awful. And we do get the intrigue from Embedded Agent, so I don't feel bad about it. Let's fold space to fold space here and just keep the access train rolling, while also interfering with anyone else's ability to contest me on Interstellar. Plus, that puts us back up to 8, so now we don't have to worry about losing Swordmaster to Hundro next round. Invasion ships. Okay. So Hundro's going to get his Swordmaster next round also. So we're going to end up in a situation where Baron's the only one without one pretty soon here. There's really nothing I want to buy. Although I have fold spaces, so I would buy Beguiling here. But like in terms of these cards at 4, there's nothing good. Maybe if I like get Embedded Agent to give me a Persuasion, I would get Chani, but so yeah, I mean, where it is now, I could pick up a Liaison. We do kind of need the Persuasion. I just don't think this deck is currently suited to actually getting Spice Must Flows. And it's a non-faction card. Oh my gosh, I have to reveal the Breakthrough. That's the problem, man, with these like okay-ish cards. Like cards that are theoretically good for their cost but aren't actually good. Because like if you buy them, you're just going to reveal a better card and give it to someone else. But, Bribery's okay. It's definitely good with the Pheromones. But yeah, when you have Pheromones, you don't really want to add non-faction cards to your deck, right? Like, because this card is terrible if you don't draw it with a fold space, pretty much. I guess I could have picked Chris Knife, which would have worked with it. That would have been a good idea. Oh well. I mean, it is a 0 Persuasion card, which is one of the reasons why it's kind of toxic to add to your deck. But, like, you Pheromones it, and then it's never, like, you know, it's a power play, right? A power play that pays 2 Solari. I think it would have been a good decision. What I'm really afraid of is Baron drawing a Windfall, because that would actually screw me up. But we've got a great little shipping economy going between Embedded Agent, which, to be fair, we haven't been able to trigger and don't have any reason to think we would be able to trigger, but maybe one day. the freighter fleet being the only person on shipping. So, are you okay? Full space is green. We're actually okay, probably. For a second there, I was like, no green, but full space goes to green. I don't like spending a full space on Swordmaster, but I like it a lot better than not getting my Swordmaster until round 5. Still, I wouldn't call this like a pinnacle unigame. There's definitely issues, but we have a lot of strong fundamentals going for us. Although we haven't participated in any combat to any extent, we probably need to find a chance to do that. We have a reconnaissance in hand. Depending on what the fold space draws us, we probably want to use it. Baron owning both of those cities is a pain in the butt, though. And I don't think it's plausible to say that neither of them will get visited. He's just going to get to 8 for next round. But he's going to go after Hundro, so at that point Hundro should be able to block him. So we just go and just don't worry about it. But the fact that he won 2 of those... Oh my god, he's won 3 combats. Fumbles. Fumbles, fumbles. Okay. So now that we have our Swordmaster, we kind of have some flexibility here. Let's go ahead and get the... Well, no one's competing for us with Interstellar, really. But they might be competing with us. Well, let's do this first. I don't know how I want to enter the combat. So... There's no way we get the breakthrough. And the fact that it looks like Fumbles is going to get the breakthrough, it looks like the game is kind of over, to be honest. Chimurki's still good. I guess we can cash it out when we reveal for the Chimurki. So let's do that. Oh, no, Hundro's going to get Swordmaster this round. That's right, he has invasion ships. Which means that Fumbles can get Swordmaster next round, which is actually worse. Him not having a Swordmaster means he's going to research slowly, but if we look, he's actually got the most research of anybody. So, evidently that's not what's happening. I'd like to go Hardy Warriors. The problem is Yuna starts with no water. So I'm thinking Carthag, maybe. If we draw, we know we're drawing a dagger, which is actually guaranteed combat value. So I'm not against Arrakis here. Sure, that's a lower expected value than You know, that's a lower expected value than whatever Carthag would give us. But, you know, 60% of the time, Carthag doesn't give us combat juice. So, I don't know, maybe. The problem is I think that Hundro just responds and beats us in the combat no matter what we do. But we get water out of it for losing, so it's, like, fine. Okay, so it's not going to be Arrakis. And I think it is better to go to Carthag than Still Suits. Yes, the faction is nice. But, like, we can't get enough troops in at Still Suits to actually plausibly compete for the combat. Strategic Push, that is better than the Dagger, although we're going to be forced to draw the Dagger next round. Getting the 2 Solari from winning is pretty nice. I think we should just commit on this and see what happens. And nobody seems like they really wanted the Chris Knife, so that's still going to be available to us. She doesn't have the subject X online, right? No, she doesn't. No reason to bribe right now that I can think of. Let's go ahead and pick up the knife. Recall. So as it stands, we can pick up a 3-coster, which is not doable. So let's go ahead and get Spice, which I normally don't do as Yuna, but it's needed to actually get some value here. Ordnance is valid. I just, I think Shimurki is better. Let's go ahead and play the Windfall. Troops, stage incidents, awesome. Let's start competing on a faction. Probably Fremen, because we need water. Wow, okay. Sorry, Alesa, I wasn't really familiar with your game. So, it looks like Hundro's the one that's struggling here. I'm doing okay. I don't think I'm the most likely person to win, but I could. Alesa is doing pretty well for herself, and Baron is kind of the favorite right now. That's my current state of the race. Although the invasion ships is going to give Hundro some long-term utility, so we'll see how things go. Private army, okay. So I can't actually beat him with strategic push. So it's a question of, do I take the water and the intrigue, or do I just incident out? I mean, I've got a lot of troops, so I think I just take the water and the intrigue and hope that a laser doesn't steal from me. It's only one action. I can bribery first action to prevent, you know, the theft from anyone else. So as long as Alesa doesn't make it the very first thing that she does, I'll be okay. And like I said, I've got 5 troops, so I think there's a more optimal time for me to stage incident later. The water is a big reason why. Like, the water is just so important. Awesome. So we can use the Ixion Probe instead of the bribery here. Drop Freighter Fleet, drop Dagger. Okay, so open Ixion Probe, Freighter Fleet Dagger. Advance. And now, again, nobody's actually threatening to take Interstellar from us, so we can do something else if that's what we want to do. I kind of like Hardy here. Smuggling's not bad either. It would let us get Ordnance online. We also have the ability to Signet Ring spend, which seems pretty strong too. Let's open with Hardy and go from there. So I'm guessing he's going to voice Interstellar. Voicing Swordmaster doesn't actually help him. Baron is just going to Swordmaster on the second action anyway. The smarter decision here from Hundro would have been to voice on his second action, because that actually does screw Baron. Yeah. Walking Basin. Okay. Now, if Aleza voices Swordmaster, then Baron's in trouble. And because Hundro just used voice, I think Fumbles should probably react by hitting Swordmaster just in case. Although, honestly, he might be better off going to Fold Space if he can. Letting me have Fold Space every single, or start shipping every single round is not ideal for them. That's probably really the reason that I'm in the game right now, is because I'm able to do that. Yeah, Baron's just going to be hard to contain because he's got 3 combat points, and he's going to get a free point from Scientific Breakthrough. So, like, if the game goes late, he's in a good spot, and he's got the most points, so if the game ends early, he's probably also in a good spot. I don't see, like, a scenario here where we're not kind of in trouble. I actually wouldn't mind the Slig Farmers. You know, I've been behind on research. I need a way to get more Scarabs, and I've got a lot of money as Yuna. So, the problem is I'm not even close to being able to research. I don't have the cards. Instead of using our Signet Ring, we could go for High Council Seat. If that gets us the Replacement Eyes, it's probably worth. But I don't think we get the Replacement Eyes. We're revealing after Aleza and after Baron, most likely. Oh, she's going to do it. Oh my god, is she going to do it? Okay, so we get 1 bump from Yuna Ring. We get 1 bump from this track, and then we get 1 bump from Bribery if we want. So we can basically, I would say we don't need to take Fremen because we're probably using Pheromones with Chris Knife next round. So where else can we benefit from a huge influx of bumps? Probably Emperor, since Emperor is the faction that no one ever wants to go to. So let's just make up for that by going up with Emperor manually. Yeah, I know you don't, but shut up. And like, there's no way he can't. There's no way he doesn't get the breakthrough, right? Because he Chair-Dog experimentations. So we actually have enough money to go to High Council still. Okay, well, Never mind. So I guess we're Mentat instead. Highliner, are you serious? In round 5? It's a pain in the butt. I mean, Stage Incident exists. And we have way more troops in our garrison, so it's probably okay. Still annoying, though. Like, we can go to Arrakis, throw in 3. That bumps us by 6. We're at 14. We have Strategic Push. But, like, isn't that just a lot of work for a combat that... I don't know. Like, is it even... I mean, we have 6 troops in our garrison. We probably ought to use them. So, what if instead we go to Still Suits? Like, he's got 6 points and 0 alliances. Like, you can't take these points away from him. So he takes the Replacement Eyes, which is a pain in the butt also. So we can Diplomacy to where here? I mean, I'm tempted to go to Fold Space, honestly. Eventually someone's going to come for that alliance, and we would like to be able to use the Fold Space with the Pheromones. Yeah, I've noticed. Alternatively, we could hit Secrets just because it's a good space. We could go Still Suits and increase ourselves to 12 with a laser. We technically get ahead of her with Strategic Push, but you know, that's if she has no combat cards. And then we don't beat Hundra that way. Hundra's at 14. So I think Stage Incident's just what's happening here, which means that if we're Stage Incident, we need to go do something else. So is it Secrets, or is it Fold Space, or is it Still Suits? Still Suits, it's okay. I mean, gives us some leeway against a laser. And the water isn't bad. Nobody's actually indicating that they want to fight me on Guild is the thing. Secrets, you know, we'll be back down again later. Problem is all of our Fold Spaces are gone for this Pheromones. I kind of think we don't want to go to Fold Space just to go to Fold Space. I think we need to go into Secrets. It's just a better overall play. The Study Melange is really kind of sad here because we're not getting there, right? Like, look at this. It's, you know, the end of round 5, we've researched twice total. Space travel works with the Pheromones, but not probably to a meaningful extent. Like, we don't... Like, this is not... That's not a faction that we need to bump with. So... let's do this. I think maybe our path is winning late-game combats. So let's get the Gunthopter. A lot of private armies today. Let's go ahead and grab our free point. Wow. Okay. So do we take an intrigue card here? Or we're going first next round, so I think we do. Because if we get something that we need to burn, then we just burn it. Or like we burn the Study Melange or something, right? Guild authorization is also fine. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think even though we want to do the Pheromones to Still Suits, I think we need to be doing something else. I think we need to be going to Interstellar. You know what? We could... We could trash the freighter fleet. BG, I guess. Let's do Emperor because Hundro has that, in the shadows. I don't think Alaise is going Still Suit specifically on the first action. One day we'll win a combat. And we got 8 troops to everyone else's, like, 0s. So, yeah, Alaise is still doing well despite all of her grumbling. So we take the first bump. We trash the Chris Knife. We nab the Alliance. We deploy because we like water. At worst. We probably want to use Embedded Agent to grab High Council. I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're getting a Spice Must Flow this game, so maybe that's a waste of our time. We might just be better off hitting, like, Smuggling. Or just, like, Imperial Basin, even. Imperial Basin. We could go Haga Basin, and then we're technically set up for Highliner, which nobody else is. Off the Study Melange. I think I like that. The only problem is we only have 1 Diplomacy in our deck. I don't have the Persuasion to pick up the Space Travel. But it helps us win the combat because we can actually deploy. Versus like going to Smuggling and just getting more troops in our garrison that we can't use. We'll draw we'll Intrigue off of Embedded Agent, but we have 2 that we can spend, so I'm not worried about that at all. Let's do this. And grab our Intrigue Scarab. Gruesome means we can deploy more. Let's Bribery... Actually, hold on. Let's undo this a little bit. Bribery Emperor. Go for Alliance number 3 here. And just commit really aggressively. Because, again, if someone finds a way to stop us, we just Gruesome out. And if nobody competes with us, we Gruesome and we still win. So it's a win-win to overcommit. And actually, we'll get ourselves to 9 if we win the combat from going up on BG. We would want to go up on BG and Fremen and use the Fremen bump to just reinforce ourselves away from Alaise. Alaise doesn't have any water, so she can't hit Hardy this round. I do think a 4 Alliances game is potentially possible. Which is not something you would expect from Yuna, but her ring does give faction, right? So, yeah. Plus, if you're the only person going Interstellar the entire game, then that helps. I guess Baron got there in round 6, but come on. So, Secrets is taken. Sleeper Must Awaken we don't actually win the game off of this, right? Like, it would take us to, would take us to 10, and that's just not enough. So instead, I do think I pop the Study Melange. And then if we don't draw Guild next round, then we just pop Sleeper Must Awaken. Because again, we don't think that there's a way for us to end the game this round anyway. We do have enough money to use our Signet Ring if we draw it again. Fumbles is slowing down, for whatever that's worth. But, like, we know that he's still got a Scientific Breakthrough that he can pop. Although he's really pretty far behind on research because he spent so long without a Swordmaster. So it's starting to look like maybe he is containable. And he didn't manage to get the Spiritual Fervor. So, Gruesome. We're almost there. Like, if we could just get the Reclaimed Forces, we could win. But it's not Harvest Cells, right? So it doesn't do that. So it's actually looking like maybe we're going to be the person to win. We did not draw the Highliner, and we did draw the... Ew, this hand's terrible. Oh my god. This hand is awful, dude. So, this is rough. I guess we prioritize Arrakis and Mentat. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah. The good news is we have a ton of resources that we can spend on economic supremacy. Problem is we don't really have any way to get to economic supremacy because we don't have anything. Like, I don't know that Mentat actually makes a ton of sense because we still have a dead hand even after we hit Mentat. But yeah, I think basically we start with Arrakeen. We do like Gunthopter Arrakeen, kill their garrisons a little bit. See if we can draw into more action. We don't have to if we can get diplomacy to Pheromones to BG, which is only a 1 in 7 chance of, but if we can get that, we're good. Or if we can just get second place or better in the combat, which should be pretty doable, we're also good. If we draw diplomacy, we can Highliner, which is probably better than doing the BG shenanigans. And if we get our ring, we have things we can do with that too. So, I mean, if we draw a dagger, we're not happy. If we draw like reconnaissance, we're not happy. But most other cards that we could draw give us something. Experimentations aren't great. Let's do this. Clip their garrisons a little bit. Signet Ring is good enough. And we probably want to take Signet Ring to either Mentat or Carthag. We've improved our odds of drawing diplomacy, but not enough. We We could do, like, Signet Ring, Siege Tabor, and then Pheromones Research Station, but I think Baron will take a Research Station out from under us. And there's not an inherent benefit to getting the water if we don't use it. Although, right now, we're basically sitting at 10 points, right? And we're sitting at 11 because we just get the Scarab point and the Sleeper Must Awaken. So as long as nobody else crests 11 this round, and that seems pretty likely, then we just win the game kind of by default. Stage Incident's a broken card. And we have Chimurki, so, like, unless somebody gets to 12, and that's not happening, realistically. So I think what we're going to do here... I think we go Carthag Signet Ring. Lock in Fremen. Or we can bump BG and then dispatch an envoy to BG. That seems a little better. Eliza doesn't have... What's Eliza's, like, Fremen... Like, what has she bought? Spice Must Flow... Truthsayer doesn't go to Fremen, even. Voice. I don't mean... Has No Other Way's been played? It has. Yeah, okay. We take BG here. Because if we can get a 4 Alliance game, that's going to be awesome. And now we're almost guaranteed to get a point from second. Dispatch an envoy with Pheromones is even better. But because we have Pheromones, actually, we could have just bumped Fremen. We didn't have to bump BG, because we can take the BG Alliance with Pheromones. We don't need to do it that way. And then the Sleeper Must Awaken actually ends up being extraneous, because we spend the spice in the combat anyway. Now, Eliza could do, like, Quid Pro Hardy. That's something she could do, but we still, again, we have enough points at this point that we don't care. There he is. There he goes, yeah. And I kind of, like I said, he's got the research scientific breakthrough, so I knew that there wasn't going to be any point to going to research station. Or to go to water to set up for research station is maybe a better way of saying that. I'm sometimes difficult. It's difficult. Sorry, slurred my words here. It's sometimes difficult for me to estimate who's going to win a game in round 3 or round 4. Like, it looked like Baron was unstoppable. He still doesn't have 2 of his friendships. Okay, so it looks like Eliza's not stealing that alliance. So this is going to be a quad alliance game, which is pretty cool. I am notably, very far behind everyone else on research. So, is there any reason to go selective versus secrets? Not really, to be honest. Yeah, not really. No reason to play the dagger either, since we kind of... Well, we could get the spiritual fervor, but it doesn't matter. Let's just keep the daggers for the combat, right? So let's do this to this. Chom shares. Kind of funny to get Chom shares. Sleeper Must Awaken. Trash a grafted card. Convincing. Reinforce it. We're already on secrets, but let's go ahead and pop Sleeper Must Awaken. Now we're at 12. You have to get 13 to beat us, and this is definitely game over. Moritani runs a one-party state, unfortunately. How much did Embedded Agent help us? Well, the intrigue cards are definitely pretty nice. We've used them. The strategic push hasn't done anything for us. If we get the 2 Solari from it this combat, we're still 1 Solari short of getting an extra point from Supremacy. So this really has no effect. But I feel like we got other useful cards from Embedded Agent. I don't remember which ones came from her versus which ones came from other things. The Windfall was handy. The Ixion Probe was great. Stage Incident was from the Chimerki, but still incredible. Bribery was good. The guild authorization probably did not matter. Although, having, a 3-bump lead on the other players on guild does make it so that they don't even bother challenging me, which is helpful. Well, unfortunately, if Hundro's game is frozen, at some point he's just going to time out. And it's definitely an annoying time for his game to freeze when the game's kind of over. Baron withdraws up to 8. Secrets of Sisterhood's up to 9. So he's catching up. But he's not making it to 13. I kind of wanted to make voice the thumbnail of the video, but having 4 alliances is such a rare occurrence that I feel like it needs to go in the thumbnail. Do it for the money. If there's a bug, maybe they'll give me the 3 Solari instead of 2. CTM from Baron. Ooh. Didn't get a point from it, though. He couldn't get a second Spice Must Flow. That makes sense why he prioritized High Council then. So, I thought the game was doomed, and then we won by 3 points. So, who knows, man. 1 point Sleeper Must Awaken, 1 point Stage Incident, Chimerki to break tiebreakers, 1 Scarab point, 4 Influence Tracks, 4 Alliances, 1 point from combat. Kind of a weird game in that I lost like every single combat and still ended up winning by a healthy margin. I think, if we're honest with ourselves, a lot of that is interstellar shipping and the decision to go double fold space early. And nobody else's, also to do things like block fold space. Pheromones actually did have a good game here. Pheromones gave me the Fremen Alliance. Definitely don't have the Fremen without Pheromones. Embedded Agent, pretty handy. If we're talking about MVP card of the game, I don't know. Probably Fold Space if we're honest. Right? Although, Pheromones was cool, right? Because we still got our Scarab point, so it didn't really cost us that much. And it let us trash out the Chris Knife after we were done using it. It was an interesting game for sure, and I think Pheromones helped. You could also say our Signet Ring, because our Signet Ring gave us troops, it gave us spice, it gave us the faction bumps that we needed. Yeah, I don't know. I would say probably Pheromones, but hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later.